Entering Kenmore. Doors will open on the left.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome to episode 40 of Entering Kenmore. I am David Azer alongside Zach Coe. Zach, stop me if you've heard this before. The Red Sox are once again pinching pennies in an MLB offseason. This is nothing new to fans of this team who've been following this team forever. It's unfortunate. It felt like this was maybe the year where we would actually see some big swings in the free agents and at winter meetings specifically. Nothing of that happened, and I'm trying to stay positive, but it's getting harder and harder every day. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, you said for people that have been fans of this team forever, it feels like it wasn't always like that. And I feel like over the recent however many years, whether it be because of Section 10 or any of the different ways that baseball's connecting with younger fans and new fans, I feel like there's been so many more new people coming into the Red Sox space, whether it be, I forget her name, the girl who does the crocheting with Crochet. This was her first playoff run as a Red Sox fan. Some other people that we see on Red Sox Twitter every now and then. So it's nothing new for them, but for us who have been fans of the team for however long, it's a completely new phenomenon, which is like just so annoying that they decided to pinch pennies. And it all goes back to John Henry. He's not interested in fielding a competitive baseball team anymore. He's more concerned about building a global sports empire. Obviously just sold off of the Penguins, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him or them in FSG move back into the NHL space as they continue to grow up with Liverpool, and I believe they were trying to get a Bundesliga team at one point. And obviously we know they have their sights set on the Vegas expansion team once LeBron retires over in the NBA. So it's just frustrating because for people who have been following this team for a long time, like the both of us, it's a complete reversal from where we were even just, say 7 years ago in 2018.
It is just so mind-numbing that every single year I'm just so optimistic heading into the offseason where it's like, okay, you made the wild card round. That's cool. Like you want to build off of that. And I know we put out the rant we had yesterday on our socials. But yeah, it's just like really for some foolish reason, I thought this was the year where it's like, okay, like let's lock in here. We made the playoffs. Now this is the year where you become a World Series contender. And the longer and longer this offseason goes, it just gets less and less likely.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really the bridge they've been selling us for the last however many years. Obviously, the bottom falls out in 2019. You sell at the deadline there. By the offseason, by the start of the shortened 2020 season, it's a shell of the team that was the greatest Red Sox team in the history of the sport. Just 2 years prior to that, no Mookie, obviously have a lot of injuries there, but it's all been being sold to us as like, okay, like when we're ready, like here we go. It's full throttle. It's all systems go. It's we're gonna invest in this team. It's the investment level is gonna be there the same as it always was. And if you don't believe that, you're wrong and you're a liar, and I'm gonna call you on it. And now here we are. We finally reached that point where these guys that we've been dreaming on, my beautiful little boys, they're here. And they're beautiful. And it's time, like we said in that clip, to put that investment in. You have the blueprint for what works in this market and what builds a sustainable, maybe not sustainable because they've never really had that type of sustainable success, but what builds a World Series contending team. And we're like, all right, like you said, you make the wild card, and it feels like last offseason was a precursor to what was going to be a big offseason this year. And it's been sad trombone since for the last couple days.
And I think you can only say that there's plenty of time left for so long when everyone else around you seems to be adding. And not to mention, I mean, I know we'll get into the specific contracts, but division rivals building around you and teams that historically do not nearly spend as much as they have tried to this offseason or have spent this offseason. And it's getting to a point where it's just flat out embarrassing. Like there's no other way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, like, we'll get into the Alonso stuff, but like once it was the Baltimore Orioles that it was going to be between you guys with, like it's obviously not the same extent that it is like the Yankees or the Blue Jays or like, because like low key is something that we talked about when we broke down that Gray Rod for Taylor Ward trade, is just like the Orioles pitching staff sucks. And of course, I slander them and call them a directionless organization, and they immediately go out and sign Pete Alonso, which I like. I get that you want to add some big boppers to your bat, and it's almost a prime example of what the Red Sox should do because when you look at the Orioles roster, you have Kobe Mayo, you have Ryan Mountcastle, you have any number of guys where they're like, okay, or Samuel Basayo, Adley Rutschman, like you only have so many holes for these number of guys that are either catchers or corner infielders, catchers obviously being Basayo and Adley. And they're like, you know what, fuck it. We need to go out and we need to get Pete Alonso. It doesn't matter if the fit isn't perfect. And I think too much the Red Sox are looking for a guy who's the perfect fit and also willing to come in and do it on their terms, like being like, okay, like you're the perfect fit, but we're only going to bring you in if it comes in like at the exact number that we're like placing on you and not a penny higher, which is just completely flawed thinking.
And the problem is, if you do bring in these veterans and maybe some other of these younger guys are blocked, then that makes them prime trade candidates. And I think all offseason, as we really did a deep dive on this in our primer episode, it seemed like trades were likely. And, that could still be the case. Maybe throughout the winter meetings, the Red Sox met with other teams and were just sort of laying the groundwork for some of these potential deals. But the problem is, I hate waiting for all this. And I know I kind of sound like a spoiled child, but it's like seeing all these other deals happening. And some of those I didn't expect the Red Sox to be in on. I didn't expect them to swing for Edwin Diaz, or Robert Suarez just signed with the Braves too. But like Schwarber, Alonso, like I expected the Red Sox to make competitive deals, and it didn't even seem like they did that. So how long until we see these trades come to fruition, if ever? I don't know.
Well, it was weird too, because it felt like on today's Thursday. So on Tuesday night, I felt like all of Red Sox Twitter was up until like 1:30 in the morning, just like constantly refreshing, waiting for something that never came. But obviously the winter meetings have come and gone now, but it felt like all the reporting was like the free agent market's going to move pretty slow, but these winter meetings, they're going to be deal central, baby, like trades. And there wasn't a single trade besides a couple Rule 5 draft moves that got made. So it was pretty bizarre on that front. And then you obviously have the two preeminent big boppers in the free agent class that aren't Kyle Tucker signed. So like, I don't know where that reporting came from or what, but yeah, I was expecting some deals to get done, and it seemed like there was some serious momentum towards the Ketel Marte trade, and obviously that didn't come. But like you said, maybe it's just laying the groundwork for things to come. And it seems like the Red Sox, the Cubs, and the Padres, they said were the three most active teams on that trade front. I didn't see a single rumor about any trades. Well, there was the Nico Horner rumor that came out yesterday that they were supposedly listening on Nico Horner. But I didn't see anything else regarding the Padres, and the only deal with the Red Sox was Ketel Marte. So I don't know what they could potentially have in the works.
Yeah, and I know that Breslow tends to kind of move in silence. Like, it just seems like a lot of these trades that are coming up, you don't really hear anything beforehand. Like Oviedo, we didn't hear anything about. Sonny Gray, to a large extent, we didn't hear much about either. So I can give him the benefit of the doubt. I just don't feel like it anymore.
Yeah. Well, and I guess we can start to kind of get into things here. It's something that he said in one of his media availabilities a couple days ago. Bradfo tweeted it out. Craig Breslow says teams are more Craig Breslow says more teams are holding on to their desirable players than last offseason. Use Garrett Crochet as an example from last year. So, like, what players are we talking about here? Like, if he's moving in silence, but teams are more willing to hold on to their players this year than they were last year, like, then what are we talking about? Because, like, I fail to see where, like, those guys are going to come into play. And if we get into, we're going to dive into the weary of age thing, then, like, if teams are willing to hang on to their controllable assets, then you're going to be looking to trade for older guys like Ketel Marte, who still on a team-friendly deal, but I mean, it seems like they're really willing to pinch pennies on everything at this point, so who knows even where they're at financially.
Yeah, it just makes no sense to me. Like, why are you pinching pennies now when you saw the success last year, and albeit you only won one game in the playoffs, but it just makes no sense to me why now the year is like, okay, the playoff window's open, yeah, but we're not gonna do anything. In fact, we're gonna put out a worse team next year. Like, I don't understand it. And the McAdam quote, I think, sums it up kind of perfectly, if you want to read that.
Yeah, this is laughable. And like, just quickly on that front too, they volunteered the information that they were going to reinvest the Rafael Devers money.
Oh, yeah.
And every
time a mic was in front of their face.
Yeah, literally every single time they were like, well, don't worry, like, we got off of that money, but but it's coming back around, and you better. And like part of the reason is it's so frustrating that there hasn't even been a single Kyle Tucker rumor yet. Like me and Stats are in absolute lockstep on this Kyle Tucker stuff because I love Kyle Tucker and I saw him. I always check the Carabas has broken my brain on guys like that. I check the replies for Nuggets. So Stats tweeted whatever about trading an outfielder. And someone said something to him like, yeah, but who? And then who do you sign? And he was like, well, if you're doing things right, you trade 2 outfielders and sign Kyle Tucker, but they aren't doing that. So, like, it's frustrating that there hasn't even been a single Kyle Tucker rumor out there, even like being like, oh yeah, the Red Sox are poking around Kyle Tucker. Like, you just give me that, just poke around on him, because like I said, like having him and Roman in the same outfield is like my wet dream. Like, that would be absolutely incredible, and it's everything that you want. He's a big bat and he's a superstar, but he's not marketable. He's not Juan Soto. He's not Shohei Ohtani, and ultimately that's what FSG's looking for, is to build a global brand. So that's annoying, but yeah, I'll read this McAdam quote from last week because it's really laughable. It's pretty similar to what Hal Steinbrenner said when he met with the New York media. But this comes from McAdam. According to industry sources familiar with the organization's thinking, the Red Sox are okay going over the first CBT threshold set at $244 million for 2026, which would translate to them absorbing a modest financial loss. But anything beyond that, there's a reluctance to incur bigger deficits. You're telling me that the Boston Red Sox are not a profitable entity. That's what you're telling me. It's so, like, to have the Red Sox and the Yankees owners doing this simultaneously is like, it's just so double pathetic. Like, yeah, dude, I'm so sure that owning the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox isn't profitable. Yeah, like, honestly, let's give it up to these guys. Steinbrenner, John Henry, thank you for your service, incurring these big losses to own a baseball team. It must be so tough being you guys, multi-billionaires, owning your baseball teams, not to make money, but for the love of the game. And honestly, that's commendable. So thank you to those guys for being brave enough, really, to own 2 of the 3 biggest Major League Baseball franchises in the history of the sport. So thank you to those guys. Thank you for your service. Salute to you. But it's so fucking pathetic. The Red Sox, according to Forbes, in 2024 paid $74 million, and their 2024 payroll and tax was $242 million. It's just... So the rest of your expenses are over $300 million, John. That's what I'm supposed to believe, that you're spending more money on other expenses than you are on the roster of your baseball team. Like, we should be getting more than $25 an hour to do Spanish radio if that's the case, because obviously or maybe we should be getting less if they're pinch out. I'll take less if that means we can get a more competitive baseball team out there on the field. Like, I promise you I will. Not much less, but I will take less. It's so laughable and pathetic for these owners to be crying poor. Like, you're the owner of the Boston Red Sox, and that place is banged out every single summer game, every single game period. And we're buying 5 $14 beers and 3 $12 hot dogs. And it's just, honestly, it's so embarrassing. Like, they should know how tone deaf that sounds. So for someone in ownership to leak that to McAdam is like, that's so shameless and pathetic. Like, fuck those guys.
The problem is, this is not the first time that's happened. I mean, Craig Breslow, every single time he's like, well, we were missing the slug in the lineup. Yeah, we did a whole rant about that earlier, and obviously trading Devers didn't help with that. He had another quote that we'll get to later, but I was crunching some numbers, and by that I mean looking up MLB attendance from last year. And the Yankees rank 3rd, Red Sox rank 10th. Go all the way down here to the Orioles at 23. Nobody's showing up to these games. I mean, you couldn't pay them to show up to these games, and still they go out and have spent more than the Yankees and Red Sox combined this offseason so far. It's just flat out embarrassing. And not to mention the Blue Jays. Where are the Blue Jays here? Okay, they're 9th, and they already went out and got Dylan Cease.
And they're going to get Tucker.
Like, what? Obviously, like, okay, Yankees keep pinching pennies. Pinching pennies. This is my flu game, by the way. I'm off of Tylenol. We'll see how this goes, but I'm fighting. I'm battling. But yeah, all this to say that it's just like, dude, please shut the fuck up. Like, I can't keep. You can't keep shoving this down my throat. Maybe some people will fall for it and be like, "Oh, well, John Henry said so, so we can't go out and shell out more money." I'm not one of those people. I'm not dumb enough to fall for this. And the vast majority of people on Red Sox Twitter who are listening to this podcast and everyone in general shouldn't accept that.
No, and this year the number was 248. So even if you take this to account here, so they made 574 in 2024, and I assume that number was higher this year because they're more competitive and they only spent $6 million more on the tax. It's like genuinely so embarrassing to be like, oh, poor me, I'm a billionaire. The rest of the country is sitting around being like, most people are like, I don't know where my next meal's coming from, or drowning in debt, or losing their health insurance, and these fucking billionaire owners wants to come out and, oh, it's so expensive to own a baseball team. Paying baseball players is expensive. Like I genuinely cannot mean this in a more sincere way. Like, go fuck yourself. Yeah, I'm sure, John. I'm sure it's so expensive to own a baseball team. It must be. I'll crunch some numbers right now, too. What's John Henry's net worth? I'm sure it's very hard to be John Henry, living on his yacht, supermodel girlfriend, or I guess Linda's not a supermodel, but you know what I mean. No offense to Linda. Yeah, smoking like $4 million, smoking cigars that are worth more money than I'll see in 2 months.
Yeah,
like,
watching Liverpool win the title.
Yeah, $5.7 billion. 5.7 billion for John Henry. It must be tough being a 5.7 billionaire. It's, yeah, good. Like I said, we already gave them a standing ovation, but credit to John for owning a baseball team, because it's
so
just
brave of you.
Such a burden on him. But again, like, here's an idea for you, John. If it's such a burden to own and operate and run a baseball team, let's set up like a little Whit Grousbeck situation. We'll run the Boston Red Sox, and you can bankroll it for us.
No, I'm all in on that. I mean, yeah. Pete Alonso would already be on a plane here.
Yeah, Pete Alonso. We don't even need Pete Alonso. We got Kyle Tucker on the way, buddy.
Yeah, and I'm going to rescue Ketel Marte as well while we're at it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but yeah, it's so pathetic, and it sets the framework for like they like Hal and Henry are both pushing for the salary cap. Like, they're going to be the number one, and I'm sure Tom Ricketts is going to jump on board with that too. So is the Cubs, Yankees, and Red Sox pushing for a salary cap strong enough of a push to the owners where it's like, okay, like, we have to get this done? Or do the Steve Cohens, the whoever owns the Dodgers, I forget his name, does that side, Mark Walters, I think it is, does that side win out? It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think we're going to be in for a really contentious lockout. And I if you couldn't tell by my rant about fuck the billionaires, I always side with players in labor disputes like this. So I'm like 1,000,000% on the players' side here. So I just hope it doesn't cost the full season, but I'm also willing to sacrifice that because I think the salary cap is so fucking stupid and bails out cheap assholes like these two guys.
Well, it's also so timely that this is coming up in an offseason where you've already been outspent by the Baltimore Orioles and the Blue Jays. Like, I know the Blue Jays are more of a top of the market team nowadays, but even still, it's like this wasn't happening 20 years ago. And now we're pushing for a salary cap because the Dodgers are winning the world. Ruining baseball when every other team could be doing the exact same thing.
I saw so many people when they signed Edwin Diaz be like, oh, here come the Dodgers, ruining baseball. It was a $70 million contract. You don't know how many teams could afford that in Major League Baseball? 30. All 30 of them could. $70 million. Here come the Dodgers, ruining baseball.
I would say 29 because I don't think the Red Sox would have done it.
Too much. They would. Yeah, too much of a loss, a huge deficit. They would incur massive deficit if they dare sign a $70 million contract. But yeah, it's just it literally, like, that entire quote from McAdam, which, like, he's been around the block, he's really close to Henry, like, that came from someone like with direct knowledge of John Henry's thinking, maybe even came from John Henry. Like, it's just, these people could not be more tone deaf to what's going on. It's like when they had the Winter Classic, Bruins and Penguins at Fenway, and Henry was there and he was getting booed, and I forget what the statement was, but John was like, no, they weren't booing me, they were cheering me. It's like, all right, man. Like, yeah, that's what they were doing. Like, yeah, Yeah, that's what they were doing, John. They were cheering, "You are a really great owner." That's what they were saying. Like, "Thank you for bringing the World Series back here." Like, it's so unbelievably tone deaf. Like, there's no group of people I hate more than the ultra rich, because they are just the dumbest group of people on the planet.
I mean, it's mind numbing to see this happen every single offseason. I think we can get to sort of a timeline of events throughout the winter meetings here. Did you have anything else before we get into all that?
No, just you're not operating at a loss. So stop
No,
lying at me.
far
Stop
from it.
lying to me. Yeah.
Stop
You're
lying
just
at me.
Yeah, stop lying at me.
Oh, geez. Okay, so winter meetings start technically Sunday night. Yeah, where like they're all getting there and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Maybe getting a couple drinks, laying down the groundwork. Probably not. And then
Breslow should have had a couple more drinks and just seen
ah,
what happened if that was the case.
I could have used about 50 more, but
Yeah.
just
Just
based on how this all went. Monday rolls around. I don't think was Schwarber Monday or
the
Tuesday?
Schwarber was Tuesday, and then
Okay.
Alonso was yesterday.
So not much happens on Monday either. That's where the Cattell Marte rumors start brewing. And we also heard that the Red Sox FaceTimed or like Zoom called with Bo Bichette, and he was super
Yeah.
impressed. Then you're like, okay, maybe Bichette's the answer here. And then it comes out not too long later that they're like, it's getting too crazy for the Red Sox.
Yeah, Julian
they
McWilliams. Yeah.
they can't go more than 7 years. I mean, God, you're asking them to commit that long to a 28-year-old? I mean, who do you think they are?
Well, and like that's what, and we'll get into it, but obviously the Red Sox offer significantly less years and less money, and they were weary of Pete Alonso's age being 31. And they're out, and like you said, Julian McWilliams reports that unless the market changes on Bichette, they're out on him too. So like, who are they interested in? If they're weary on 31-year-old Pete Alonso for his age, and the market on 28-year-old Bo Bichette is too crazy for them to even fathom looking into him any further. And Alex Bregman's 32. Cattell Marte is Alex Bregman's going to be 32 3 games into the 2026 season. Cattell Marte is 32. Like what kind of players are we talking about here? Like, I just don't understand like what the market, like if this is what if we're weary on ages, like guess what? Your opening day second baseman next year is David Hamilton, Romy Gonzalez platoon, and your third baseman is Marcelo Meyer, and you're a significantly worse baseball team than the one that got their doors blown off by the Yankees.
Oh my God. Like it just makes no sense. Like we talked about a few episodes ago, like supplementing your young talent with veterans is always going to be, we're bringing in a bunch of old dudes. It doesn't have to be like they don't have one foot in the grave. Pete Alonso's 31. Like, what are we talking about? He's not retiring anytime soon.
Yeah, and like it's one of those things too, where like the way that the system is set up, like which do you want? Do you want your young players to be cheaper for longer and then hit free agency at 31 or 29 or 30, or do you want guys to hit free agency earlier and you're going to pay them earlier? Like, which you can't have it both. They want to have their cake and eat it too, which is like that's again like I feel like the title of this episode so far could be "Fuck Billionaires," but like it makes no sense that like these people have had everything given to them their entire lives, so they just want it. They want to have their cake and eat it too. And it's just that's not how Major League Baseball works. And it's something that I was actually digging around for the quote last night and I couldn't find it. And Bradfo doing the Lord's work, it's like he knew I was looking for it, quote tweeted it earlier, and it's the Andrew Friedman quote from 9 years ago now. But it's if you're always rational about every free agent, you will finish third on every free agent. And time again, what do we see the Red Sox doing? And it might not be finishing third, but we see them poking around on this guy and interested in that guy. And ultimately, like Pete Alonso, they sign elsewhere. And then within the next couple hours, we get the report that like, yeah, the Red Sox were interested, but they were interested at their price. So like they continue to place these hard caps on guys being like, all right, we value Pete Alonso at whatever their deal was, like it significantly less money and fewer years. So we value Pete Alonso at say 3 years, $75 million. And that's the max we're willing to go on. And it's like, okay, well then that's why Pete Alonso's wearing an Orioles jersey now. Like, and if you continue to do that, like, okay, like we are interested in Bo Bichette and he could be a potential fallback option if Bregman walks, or even you could do both. They're not going to do both because they're too cheap to, but like, okay, we're interested in Bo Bichette, but but we're willing to go 6 years and 180, and he's looking for 7 and 220, so we're out on that too. Or even with Juan Soto, okay, we're interested in Juan Soto. We're potentially going to bring in a generational player, a global superstar. We're interested in him at what was the final offer? Like 13 and like 5, 6,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, somewhere in the 5 to 600 million range. And then like they get into the mix and it's like, oh shit, well, the Mets are willing to go 760. We're out. Like the overpay, like that's how, like you said, that's how free agency works. You don't sign free agents without overpaying. Like, guess what? David Price was on his way to St. Louis. If you didn't step up and say we're willing to overpay you, we're willing to give you the richest contract for a pitcher in baseball history at the time. Like that's how free agency works. And it's like they knew that for 20 years and then they got some sort of amnesia to where it's like, okay, like we have this hard cap and we're not willing to go past it. And that's why they consistently finish just on the outskirts of every free agent. The only reason they were able to sign Alex Bregman is because he was like, you want me to live in Detroit? Fuck no. Like that's literally the only reason why Alex Bregman fell into their lap. And now it's going to happen again and it's going to bail them out, I think. And it's going to be disgusting because then it's just going to further reinforce that if they just play the waiting game, then eventually they're going to get someone who's so desperate that they have no choice but to accept their shitty offer.
Yeah, I mean, 30-year-old JD Martinez signed at the end of February. Spring training was already well underway at that point, and he came in and put them over the top, obviously, in 2018. But it wasn't like the Red Sox were super outward about their pursuit of JD Martinez.
They did the same thing. They did the exact same thing with JD as they did with Bregman, where it's like, okay, like here's whatever the deal was, 5 and 120 or something like that. 110, yeah. So they did the same thing where they were like 5 and 110, and Boris was like, how about 7 and 210? And they were like, how about 5 and 110? And they just continued to do that until it eventually was like, okay, well, I guess I have no choice but to come here. They did the same thing with Bregman, and it ended up being a 1-year deal, and John Henry wants to post his picture smoking a cigar because he signed a guy to a 1-year deal. Like, all right, John, let's leave the cigars in the fucking case until we actually start spending like a real team again. I know that it's going to be really tough on your pockets, but like it's so annoying. It's so stupid. And it makes being a fan of this team that much more frustrating because it feels like, and I guess you could say this about Yankees fans or any fans really where their owners are pinching pennies, Pirates fans, like it just makes being a fan so annoying because it feels like you put so much in, especially for us, like we work with like around the team, we work on 2 different sets of radios, we do the podcast, we put so much time and effort into the team. It's just like your owners are telling you to go fuck yourselves, like shut up and you'll take what you like, you take what you get and you're still going to show up and give me $15 for a Coors Light. So have fun, like go sing your Sweet Caroline. I heard this, Dan Ball said it yesterday on EEI Afternoons that they've just turned Fenway into the Fenway experience. They've turned it into baseball Disneyland. It's not come see the Red Sox play, it's come see Fenway play, which is why so many people over the last 24 hours have said the fans need to stop showing up to the games. They need to hit John Henry where it hurts, his pockets. Stop buying your Fenway Frank. Stop buying your beers. It's to an extent, yes, but it's never going to work because when the Red Sox were bad, however many years, the Blue Jays come to town and that park is filled with Blue Jays fans. The Mets come to town. It's filled with Mets fans. The Cubs are coming to town the last series of the year in September. Guess what? If the Red Sox are bad and out of it, the park is going to be filled with Cubs fans. The Dodgers threw a parade down Lansdowne Street. The thank you for Mookie parade down Lansdowne. Like they've created it into a tourist attraction and created a place where fans from other teams want to go. So it's still going to be banged out every night. And even if the 1 to 10% of diehard Red Sox fans say enough is enough, you're still going to have all the college students, the high school students with student nines, people looking to go drink outside and use it to pregame their Friday nights. Like all those people are still going to show up and they're still going to be spending money. So even if, like I said, at most the top 10% of diehard fans say enough is enough, I'm not giving you another dime of my money until you start paying attention and investing in this team the way you used to, it's not going to happen. Like nothing's going to change.
No, and bottom line is they really don't care.
No, they don't give a fuck.
Because people are coming in either way. I mean, those tours are always jam packed. I mean, like you said, we work in the space. I have heard the Boston or the Fenway Park tour script so many times where it's like I know what they're gonna say before they even say it.
Yeah.
And I'll still go on the tours. Like I fall for it. I don't understand it. It's so unfortunate to and still to this day the Red Sox have won the most World Series in this century. You wouldn't believe it. I mean, because you go from worst to first and then right back to fifth place in the division again. And then you just do it all over the song and dance. And we're in that lull right now. Like I want to say that in the 2000s, is the longest they've gone, probably.
7 years, yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, oh 04, oh 07, 13, 18, and
Yeah,
now it's been 7 years.
so I know I sound like a rotten spoiled child when I'm saying this, but it's just like, when is this gonna give? Like, I don't understand. Like, winning brings way more money than any of these tourists coming into Fenway each and every year. Like, I just don't understand why that shouldn't be your top priority, especially when you're the Boston Red Sox, such a historic franchise. It's just like this is a disservice to everyone involved except the billionaires who are still continuing to line their pockets.
Yeah, well, and it sounds like to a certain extent, like I'm sure if you said to a fan of like the Rays but like even that's a bad example because they have cheap owners too. But like a team with good, like the Phillies, we'll say the Phillies have good ownership but haven't won anything since 2008, whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
2008. So like their fans would probably sit there and go, "Yeah, you sound like a spoiled child. You have 4 World Series in the last 25 years, and you're sitting here bitching about your ownership." But like, yeah, like, but where are the people that are consistently showing up? Where are the people that are consistently paying the top ticket prices in baseball to go into a park and pay the top concession prices in baseball and the top merchandise prices in baseball to continuously watch a subpar product? And then we finally, for however many years, like I said, being sold this bridge of we have all these great young prospects. We have Roman Anthony. He's the number one prospect in baseball. He's amazing. He's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And he is. He is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But it was all told with us that when the time comes, the investment level is going to be there, and we're just not seeing it there. So we're paying all of these top of the market prices and not getting a top of the market investment back from the ownership group and from the team, which makes it all the more frustrating.
And if they don't do it now, when all these guys are called up and ready to contribute, then when is it ever going to happen again?
It's not, or it's going to be on their terms. They're very convinced that they're going to get the salary cap after the lockout in 27, and then they're going to come in and spend on their terms. They're going to be like, "Oh, well, what are we supposed? Well, our hands are tied. There's a salary cap. We could only go this high, and we already have this much committed to it." Like, and I still don't understand how the salary cap is going to work, because how do you cap the Dodgers spending? Like,
Right.
the salary cap isn't going to be whatever the Dodgers payroll is. And there are other teams that falls into too. The Mets, like there are teams that are just simply never going to agree to a salary cap because they're going to be so far over it that it's going to be impossible for them to get under. So like I'm sure they have some sort of idea with how they're going to implement it, but like it's just I can't state enough how against a salary cap I am. It just everything that we've been bitching about for the first 35 minutes of this episode is encapsulated in the salary cap. Like it's just it completely bails out cheap owners like John Henry, like Hal Steinbrenner, like Bob Nutting, like any number of like examples that you want to use, and it completely punishes the teams that are actually willing to go out there and invest in their team and win.
I just don't think a salary cap would even change these cheap owners' minds at all. Like, it's just less incentive to spend.
Yeah. And that's what it's going to come down to is like, okay, like, well, it's going to come with a salary floor. It's like, okay, so what's the salary floor going to be? Like $90 million, $100 million? Like, okay, so the bottom spenders of the league are going to have to invest like $40 million more on their team. Let me pull back up that graphic and I can tell you who the lowest spenders in the league are. But I would guess it's the Pirates and the
Marlins.
Rays, Marlins. Yeah.
Rocky.
Yeah, 86. So even if it was 90, so 2024, the White Sox, the Marlins were 86 million, the White Sox were 87 million, the Rays were 100, the Pirates were 112. And then it's a big jump from 26 to 27. It's the Cubs at 213.
Jeez.
Oh no, that's not right. This isn't in the right order.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way the Cubs are that low.
No, there's a couple 1-6. No, the Cubs are that low. The Cubs are
Seriously?
yeah, the Cubs made well, it's the like order that it's in is in the payroll to revenue percentage.
Okay.
So the Cubs are 26th in that. The Red Sox are 23rd at 42%, but the Cubs only reinvested 36% of their revenue back in the roster. Yeah, so there are a couple other teams that are in the hundreds. But yeah, those bottom two teams are the lowest spending teams. So like if you jump it up to 90 or $100 million, like we're talking about teams adding like Edwin Diaz to their roster or something like that. So like it's really not going to increase their spending all that much, and it's just going to punish the teams that are willing to spend, bail out the owners that aren't, and not even make the league that much more competitive because you're talking about adding like a middle of the road reliever for $13 million or like a utility bat for $13 million.
Like a fifth starter.
Yeah.
Like, no moves of any real significance.
No.
Like a Johan Oviedo.
Yeah,
Could be added
yeah, literally. Yeah, signing Rob Refsnyder to a 1-year, $13 million deal or something like that. Like that's just who knows how the market would shift with that. Like I really don't think they're going to be able to get the salary cap in.
Me neither.
So I guess it's all going to be a moot point, but yeah, it's just it's so frustrating. We haven't even gotten into any of the like actual like minutia of the Pete Alonso signing, but it feels like we've covered so much. It's just it's very frustrating. Obviously, there's still a path to a successful offseason here, but it's just like I'm no longer at wait and see. I'm at all right, let's fucking see it now, buddy.
I'm with you there. And I think that's sort of how I was still in the wait and see category when Kyle Schwarber went back to the Phillies. It was 5 years, 150. And he wasn't on either of our offseason wish lists. I really didn't think the fit was there. Like, yes, he's a power hitter. Yes, the Red Sox needed a power hitter, but he was another lefty in an already lefty heavy lineup.
And a DH.
Right. And you still got Massa puttering around somewhere. I don't know. I wonder where he is in the offseason.
Mr. Worldwide. Yeah. Let's see. I'll check the Instagram. Keep going.
And hopefully there's a story because I desperately need to know where Massa is right now. But all this to say, like, it just didn't seem like there was a good fit with Schwarber. And it was interesting because you saw the Orioles matched that offer that the Phillies ultimately ended up signing with Schwarber. So you're like, okay, well, the Orioles traded Grayson Rodriguez. That's a little weird. Obviously brought in Taylor Ward, and it's like, okay, well, I still don't really understand that trade, but maybe the Orioles are actually going to spend. And then the next day, obviously, they ended up getting Pete Alonso. It was 5 years, 155, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, largely every other team didn't really stand a chance. I feel like I don't know what the Mets' final offer was. Did that even come out ever? But
no, but I saw that they weren't willing to go more than 3 years. There were those reports that they were like maxing out at 3 years, so they really weren't all that interested in it either. But yeah, it's like, and like you said it, that it came out that the Orioles matched the offer on Schwarber, which like I said, it kind of came out of nowhere to me because it was like, all right, you have Mountcastle, Kobe Mayo, Samuel Basayo, Adley, so many pieces that you're trying to fit in. But it also was like, all right, well, like that means they're probably going to be in the mix on Pete Alonso too. And like you said, all the reasons they weren't in on Schwarber, neither, like it would have been cool because like I think he like pretty quickly became a fan favorite, obviously. Yeah. Mashing the grand slam, making fun of himself when he fucked up the pitch to first and then doing it successfully the next one. Like he became a fan favorite in 3 months, like a Kyle from Waltham, all that stuff. But like you said, the logical fit wasn't really there. And so for me, the alarm bells really weren't like sounding because Pete Alonso was still there. And I've made my thoughts on Pete Alonso, the person, very clear. I guess the persona very clear. I did not like Pete Alonso, but I had come to terms with it. It was like, all right, like ultimately, like like I said, I think on this podcast, like there have been plenty of guys that I don't like their personality and I don't like the way they carry themselves that are wind up on my favorite teams, and I learned to live with it. Like it's something that you have to, and the fit was there. It was like when you talk about a guy like Craig Breslow needs to just stop talking, I think is and we've said this numerous times over the course of the season that every time he's Gerard Mayo 2.0. being that he's like one of the worst communicators of all time. It's the Spider-Man meme, Gerard Mayo, Craig Breslow. Because every time, like when you look back at what he said at the entire offseason on what they're looking for, preferably a right-handed power hitter whose profile matches Fenway Park, doesn't strike out a whole lot, and is a guy that we can plug into the middle of our order, and a first baseman. So it's like, okay, like you look at Pete Alonso and it's like check, check, check. It's like, okay, so like here obviously, and all it's going to cost you is money. So we hang on to one of our top, however many top prospects, one of the top farm systems in baseball, and we plug in a guy who is quite literally the perfect fit for and checks all the boxes for everything I just described. And it's like, oh well, we're willing to get him at this, but not this. It's just like, all right, man, like I don't understand. Like, but then like you said, once he goes to Baltimore and all the subsequent reporting comes out, like that's when you start panicking. That's when it turns into like, what the fuck is their plan? Like, do they even have a plan? Right now, I don't think they have a plan.
No. And speaking of, let's never put a mic in front of Craig Breslow's face again. After the winter meetings, this is what he had to say. We came in looking to address some specific needs. As we get ready to leave here, those needs still exist. I mean, did you have to spell it out for us like that? We all knew. And he's just going flat out acknowledging, yeah, we didn't do shit at the winter meetings, actually. I heard it. I don't know if this is true or not. I heard he was sick at like,
yeah, there was that report. There was a report that when so all that stuff came out that they were gonna meet with Alonso and he was gonna make the hour and a half drive to Orlando and meet with teams. It's like, yeah, like a bunch of the members of the Red Sox front office have the cold or the flu or something. So like that's putting that meeting in jeopardy. And we found out they did meet with him. So at least that wasn't like a full impediment to them meeting with him. But yeah, it's just and like the worst part of that quote from Breslow is after the, what's your message to Red Sox? And it's like, well, we're gonna go back to Boston and we're gonna keep working. It's like, all right, well, like we're leaving Orlando with our dicks in our hands. Yeah, like it's just like I really don't know if they have a plan. I mean, effectively what Breslow has done is he's found new ways to say burn some cash like Mayo did in over the course of like the last 2 years. It starts with him saying in either one of his introductory press or at somewhere along the way, he was like, there is no doubt in my mind that the financial investment is there and that the level of investment is the same as it always was. And then obviously they trade Devers and it's like, don't you worry, that 300 million is going right back into this team. We're going to reallocate it and just you wait. And I know plenty of people bitched about it not being reallocated at the deadline, but like that's just not how the deadline works. You can't sign anybody at the trade deadline, but that is how free agency works. So it's like, okay, this Devers money is going to get reinvested in it. And stop me if you heard this one before. I have a Rafael Devers rant to get to. But it's like, okay, now it's time to reinvest it. And it's like, and he's like, we're going to get a number 2. We're going to get a power bat. We're going to get a first baseman. We're going to get a secondary piece. We're going to spend so much money. He literally did the Trump thing. It's like, we're going to win so much. You're going to be tired of winning. You're going to say, oh, Mr. President, it's too much winning. I can't take it anymore. Like that's what Craig Breslow did. And it's like I said, it's been sad trombone ever since he's done all these things. So it's like, he literally is Gerard Mayo 2.0, where anytime he gets a microphone in front of his face, he takes his foot and promptly places it in his mouth. Like, and it's one of those things that we talked about in hiring a GM. Like, just they need someone who knows how to talk like a normal human being, and also like when they talk like a normal human being, because I think Craig has gotten better at that, but he hasn't gotten better at lying.
No, not at all. It's so stupid to be like calling your shots like Babe Ruth back in the day and then coming through on none of them. Like, I think they do have a plan. I would like to believe that, but like, how long can we wait for this? And I know it's only December 11th at this point, and you have like 2 months before pitchers and catchers report. So there is a lot of time to still fix this. It's just running out very quickly. And part of how long this offseason is it's so reactionary because everything happens simultaneously so fast and also over the span of like 3 months. So it's kind of natural to panic at every single one of these moves when your team's not really doing anything.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of those things too where when you look at what's left in the market, it's Kyle
Yeah.
Tucker, it's Alex Bregman, and Munetaka Murakami, who like okay, so he's a power hitter and he's a first baseman, but he's left-handed, and the strikeout rate is first of all, you've never seen him play in the big leagues, so it's tough to say what he's going to be there. But the strikeout rate even in Japan was so high that it's like, all right, like it doesn't seem like he checks all those boxes, and it seems like he's younger, but it seems like his bidding because he's younger is going to get so far out of control that they're not going to be interested in that because of the risk. And it's one of those things too where I do not want Munetaka Murakami just because of that risk that comes with it. And it's something that I've said time and time again. I want certainty. You know what? Where you get certainty? You get certainty in Pete Alonso. You get certainty in Kyle Schwarber. It doesn't come in Murakami. Obviously, you have Okamoto, who is another one where it seems like he's a little bit more certainty because he's not going to be a guy who strikes out as much, but it's like, is he a 25 to 30 homer guy, or is he a 20 to 25 homer guy? What does it look like against major league pitching? They haven't had great success bringing guys over from Japan. As far as hitters go, it's really only Yoshida, but like, I don't think anybody would say that they've been satisfied with what Yoshida's given them aside from vibes.
Yeah.
So like it's just like, where do you turn? Like there's obviously still so much time for everything to play out, but it's just that their options are dwindling, especially when you consider, like I said, that Breslow said that teams are holding on to their desirable players more so than last offseason. And so like who is it? Where does it come from? Like, I guess this is a time to slot in this Vinny P rumor that it seems like keeps circulating around about the Royals want a outfielder. And everyone's like, oh, well, like that makes them a logical match. And the Red Sox need a power hitting first baseman. So how about Vinny Pasquantino? And like, I like Vinny P. He's funny on Twitter, this, that, and the other thing. If you're trading Jaron Duran or Willie Abreu for Vinny Pasquantino, that is an awful trade. That is a terrible move. Like, why would you ever make that? Like, Jaron Duran at his ceiling. We've seen Jaron Duran finish top 10 in MVP voting. Vinny Pasquantino is like a 3-WAR player max. Like it's not a deal that makes any type of sense other than like, okay, well, we each have needs. Let's just swap these two needs. Like if we're talking about Cole Reagans for one of the outfielders, now we're talking. But like at that point, like it's hard to envision like where these moves are coming from.
Yeah, and also when you mentioned the part about Breslow being like, these guys are holding on to their good players more than last offseason, it's like heading into during our primer episode, I think I said that the Red Sox have more trade ammo than pretty much any other team in the league, and I still stand by that. But if these teams aren't willing to bite, then it doesn't really matter. And you're still stuck in this spot where you have too many outfielders and you don't have enough pitching. And now you need a power hitter. And I think that's more and more likely to come via trade now just because of the market. Like Pete Alonso and Kyle Schwarber are off the board. What, Luis Arias is like the next best proven, I guess, first baseman? Like, I don't want any part of him. We have him at home and it's Masataka Yoshida and I already can't stand him. Like, I don't know where you go.
And with each subsequent move, their leverage goes further and further away. Like, okay, Kyle Schwarber leaves. You weren't super interested in him. Okay, Pete Alonso signs. Guess who holds all the cards now? Alex Bregman. And guess what's going to happen if Ketel Marte gets dealt somewhere else? That leverage that Boris and Bregman have is only going to go up. And same thing for all your other potential trade partners. You could be, like I said, the reports were that they had 3 or 4 different trades in the works during the winter meetings. With each passing move that gets made and you don't land one of those guys that leaves, like your leverage keeps going away. So all of a sudden we've seen that they're unwilling to get uncomfortable in some of these deals. Again, like it's mostly been monetarily, but like who knows how far it's like. To me, like in the farm system, there are a handful of untouchable guys. I think Peyton Tolley is an untouchable guy. I think Kyson Witherspoon is an untouchable guy. And then as far as guys who have dipped their toes in the water, I think Meyer, Anthony, and I would listen on Campbell, but I just don't think the return would be enough given the contract and what he's done would be enough to warrant moving him. So you have 4 guys really that I'm like, okay, I'm absolutely not interested in trading them. Like, oh, like at what point do teams be like, all right, well, like Ketel Marte is your final option. So it's going to be Peyton Tolley and Marcelo Meyer for Ketel Marte. And then like, that's where we're talking about getting fleeced in the deal.
And obviously I don't want to see that happen, but Yeah, the price is only going up in these trades, and I know, like, a year and a couple of days ago, they went out and got Garrett Crochet. So I think things can still happen, but it's just nothing about their approach to this offseason has inspired me to be like, yeah, I'm super confident in what's coming next. Like, you went out and got Sonny Gray, sure, that's fine. That's a good supplementary rotation piece. But the more and more this gets ugly, I'm like, okay, well, they think he's their number two.
Yeah. And like it kind of it goes back to Craig Breslow's a liar. We want a number
Yeah.
two and we want a power bat. We feel very comfortable about where we're at 3 through 10, and then all he's done is added 3 through 10. Like
Mhm.
they have what 14 starting pitchers on their 40-man roster, not including Tanner Houck, who's going to get 60 dayed once they can. Like that's not sustainable either. So like something has to give. Like there has to be a trade, but it's just like if they're unwilling to get uncomfortable in these deals, and I just told you 4 names that I was not interested in dealing, 2 of which are pitchers, and 2 of which are probably your more desirable guys. And I'd be very close to putting Connolly early on that list too, but in the right deal, like you have to give to get. It's just I just don't know where it's coming from. And it seems like every single report that we get, it's like, okay, like the Red Sox poked around Isaac Paredes, but the Astros want Connolly early or Peyton Tolley. I would fucking swan dive off the green monster if they traded one of those guys for that shit bum Isaac Paredes. I don't care how many pull home runs he hits. It like similar for Kyle Teal, like okay, like the Red Sox in a I think the way that they wrote it in Mass Live was like in an ironic twist of fate. The Red Sox are kicking the tires on bringing in Kyle Teal, and like there's no traction on a deal at the moment. Like, okay, well, like that's another lefty. Where do you play him? Is he going to platoon with Narvaez, or do you view him as a first baseman? Like there's so many different things. Like there's so many eggs in so many different baskets. It's kind of hard to keep track of, but like also like where do you draw the line? Like what like again, it's hard to envision the plan right now because when you look at the roster, they've upgraded their rotation. I think a decent bit, but I think their lineup, if they run it back as currently constituted with no Bregman, is like one of the worst in baseball. And the numbers will back that up too. Stats tweeted it last night that the Red Sox are the last or second to last by projected WAR in the American League East, and it's 22nd in baseball. Yeah, last in the American League East. The after the
Boy.
Alonso signing update, here's Fangraphs ranking of position players' talent in the AL East by projected WAR. 1, Yankees. This is one I believe in all of baseball at 29.7. 3, Orioles 28.9. 5, Blue Jays 27.4. 20, Rays 22.1, and 22, 21.6, the Red Sox. So
It's just
like
ugly, man.
yeah. And not to mention, like, okay, like we want a power hitter. Who's left that's going to be a power hitter for you? Because that's how you win in the playoffs. Like, and Breslow said as much. Like, teams are continuously winning by hitting the long ball in the playoffs. It's just look at the look at Game 7 of the World Series as one microcosm of an example. That game, each team had however many scoring chances with guys on base, just needed to put the ball in play and couldn't do it to get a run across. And then Will Smith hits a home run to win the World Series. Like that's how you win in the playoffs. Like all it would have taken in game 2 of the wild card for you to move on is one blast or one caught fly ball. Like it could have been as simple as that, but you simply had a complete power outage because you got your feelings hurt.
Yeah, and I mean, the only one that comes to mind is Eugenio Suarez, and he's older and significantly worse than Pete Alonso, and he doesn't have a spot here. Like, I know at the trade deadline last year, I was kind of just like grasping at straws here, and I'm like, could they bring him in and try him at first base? And that was actually something that they thought about. I think Jen McCaffrey put that out after the fact, but now it's like, I don't want anything to do with him. Like,
No. And
what, 35 and only on a downward trend? Like, he wasn't good with the Mariners. I know that's a pitcher's ballpark, but even still, like, I just don't want much to do with Suarez when it could have been so much better.
no, and like in trying Suarez at first base is something you can do at the trade deadline because there's only so many available assets. There's only so many teams that are selling. There's only so many different paths that you can take. In the offseason, you have so many, I mean, shit, they did it with Kyle Schwarber having to play first base. In the offseason and in free agency, there are guys that are not fitting square pegs into round holes. There are first basemen that you can sign. There are guys that are good, and this is gonna stop me if you've heard this one before. What if I were to tell you that you actually had a better baseball player than Kyle Schwarber? Pete Alonso, Eugenio Suarez, Alex Bregman, Ketel Marte
Who's
at
that?
less money than all of those guys besides
Really?
Marte. Yeah, his name. And bear with me here. He played first base. He plays first base. I know he said
True.
he might have said I played third, but he plays first base. And he's a lefty, but he knows how to use the green monster to his
Well, he
advantage
did.
better than anyone that we've seen since David Ortiz. Maybe the second greatest lefty at using the green monster to their advantage in Red Sox history. And you traded him away because you got your feelings hurt. Because you, again, circling back, are the worst communicator in the history of sports, maybe only second to Gerard Mayo, who was the biggest catastrophe in professional coaching history. Like, that is what we've, and not enough people, oh, well, move on from Devers. It's in the past. You can't bring him back. I know you can't bring him back, but until he's been replaced, until that money has been reallocated, and like, frankly, until Craig Breslow learns how to communicate like a normal human being, I'm going to continue to harp on it, because any single player that you could have gotten or are going to get is worse and more expensive than him, except for Ketel Marte, who I would argue they're on at least similar ground in terms of pure talent as a baseball player, and Marte is cheaper. So, like, I just don't know, like, more people, the people that are like, oh, he's gone, give it up, like it's never going to change anything. Like, sure, it's never going to change anything, it's not going to bring him back, but it can change the way that they deal with these things, because having, even if they were, and Coley has been harping on this point for a while, even if they were like, okay, we got to get Devers the fuck out of here, first of all, who knows, winning cures everything. They would have advanced out of the wild card round if they had Rafael Devers. I firmly believe that. And who knows how things would have panned out in the clubhouse and that. But even if they wanted to trade him, it would have been like, okay, Alonso's gone, Schwarber's gone. If you need a first baseman, power hitting first baseman, you're getting more than James Tibbs and Kyle Harrison, who like is the most forgotten man in baseball. When they were talking about when they traded for Oviedo and everyone was rolling through all their options on the 40 man, everyone's like, oh yeah, Kyle Harrison, that guy exists. Like, he's literally the most forgettable man in baseball. And he was the centerpiece of a trade in which you gave up your best player. So, like, I just don't, like, more people need to be harping on the fact that the trajectory of this offseason, the future of this team is completely different. Simply if you were just willing to sit down Rafael Devers this 1 year ago today and say, hey man, like, a lot of rumors are out there. We are sniffing around Alex Bregman. He's better defensively than you. We want you to start working out at first base for this, and this. We think it's going to make us a much better team, and we're gonna have a chance to compete for a World Series. And you're still the centerpiece of it, but we just think that the fit is better. Instead, and Cora is at fault for this too. Every single time last year they got asked about Alex Bregman, it was second base, second base, second base, second base. But when we know that their computer system said Christian Campbell at second base, Bregman at third. So they were too scared. They pussyfooted around it for an entire offseason until they got there to spring training and landed Bregman. Like, oh, well, we didn't know if we were going to get him. Okay, fine. Just say like, hey man, like, there are a lot of contingency plans in place. There are a lot of moving parts here. We don't know if we're going to get him. If we do, we want you to play first. Like, it literally would have been that simple. Or, hey man, we got Alex Bregman. We want you to DH and play first. Like, not throw your glove in the garbage. You're the worst fielder we've ever seen. Like, and I've harped on it a million times. I put so much more onus on the front office and on management to act professionally than the players. And that could be a flaw in my thinking or whatever, but that's just the way I look at things. So it all would have been so much different. It all, like I said, the entire trajectory of the organization changed when they traded Rafael Devers. I texted it to you last night. I think trading Devers and the way they handled everything and all that transpired is the biggest organizational disaster in the history of the Red Sox. I don't give a fuck about Babe Ruth. I simply don't. They sold him to the Yankees to fund a play in fucking 1910 when they were playing milkmen and plumbers and black people weren't allowed to play the sport. So I refuse to be like, oh, he was the greatest baseball player of all time. Like, no, he wasn't. He was a fat, out of shape piece of shit. Fuck Babe Ruth. Don't give a fuck that they traded him. That curse wasn't real. And then, okay, well, what about Mookie? Mookie's a Hall of Famer. Mookie was destined to test free agency. The only reason he ever signed that extension with the Dodgers is because a once in a generation global pandemic hit the entire world that put the entire season, put the entire sport in jeopardy. And he simply said, okay, like if they're willing to come close to my number, I'm willing to lock in this money right now because we don't know where things are going to go from here. Like we don't know if we're going to have a 2020 season. And they effectively did it. So that's the only reason Mookie wasn't. Mookie, if you paid attention to anything leading up to his free agency and trade, thought it was his duty to the MLB Players Union to reset the market and get that richest contract in baseball history, which at the time I think was Mike Trout. So whatever, he wanted to top the Trout number, and he still got close to it. So Mookie was destined to do that, and if they weren't going to pay him, they made the right move to trade him. You can argue about the return, you can argue about putting price to it, but I don't think that's as big of a misstep as people like paint it out to be. Rafael Devers was the guy that you decided to sign. It's similar to what the Patriots did with Chandler Jones, Dante Hightower, and Malcolm Butler, where they were like, we can only keep 2 of the 3 of these guys, and then they only kept Hightower. But in this scenario, they signed Devers to a mega deal that works out to be, like I said, cheaper than all of these free agency deals that are being signed right now. And then a year into it, we're like, actually, fuck this guy and like get him out of here. Like this wasn't a guy that was going to walk in a year. This was a guy that was, like I said, when they traded him, I was literally having a conversation looking up at the right field facade about all the numbers that still need to go up. And we're like, okay, well, in like 10 years, 11's going up. Like this is the guy that you traded. Like, I just think that it's hard to look at any other move in the history of the team and be like, there's one more consequential and more damaging to the future of the franchise than this one, because look at where we are now.
It's I don't think I could put it any better myself. Right after the Orioles ended up signing Pete Alonso, I put out a tweet. It's almost like the Red Sox shouldn't have traded their best power bat for a bag of chips with no replacement plan. I mean, we're seeing the effects of that. It's tough to, and I know we bring up the Devers trade so often, but for the people who are like, when are people going to move on from this? Like, we could have had Rafael Devers for the next 8 years, 7 years, and just felt way better about this offseason as a whole if you already have the power bat in place. And every single time a microphone's in front of Breslow's face, like he said, it's like, oh, we need more home run hitters. We need more slug. That's how you win in the playoffs. You had him, and you let him go for nothing. And I just don't understand.
To get out from the money that you're not going to spend.
Exactly, and you didn't even shop him around. You took the first deal that anyone would have taken. It's just so unfortunate, the timing of everything, how it played out. You could have had Rafael Devers as your starting first baseman this year and Alex Bregman. Then you don't even need to go out and sign any hitters. As far, maybe some supplementary pieces, but you're not swinging big this offseason if you already have Devers, and you could have. Easily could have.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you said, that trajectory of the offseason gets that much simpler. It's bring back Bregman. It's maybe add a second baseman. Then you can talk about a supplementary piece like a Jorge Polanco to play second base, and then add a starter. Like you're talking about bringing back Bregman and adding on like the peripherals of the roster, and you're a ready-made World Series contender. Like it would have been that simple, but instead we're sitting here saying, okay, we need a power bat, but we're not willing to go this far, even though we said we were going to reinvest the Devers money. And like it makes things so, like, I wonder like if you gave Breslow or anybody in the front office truth serum, if they were like, yeah man, I think we kind of fucking screwed the pooch on that one.
Really? You think so? Like, it's so obvious that it was just a spur of the moment decision.
He got his feelings hurt.
Yeah, he did, and I know for a fact it was a spur of the moment thing because they didn't even kick the tires on any other team in the league to be like, hey, can you have a better package than Kyle Harrison, Jordan Hicks, James Tibbs, who is it? Jose Bayo.
Bayo. Yeah.
How could I forget? I mean, I refuse to believe, especially in the offseason where people are more looking to make significant changes to their roster, that no one would have bit at a better deal than that. Like, could you have not landed one of these starters you're looking for? And obviously that's wishful thinking and hypothetical, but like, I just think you could have gotten so much more if you waited. And also, maybe he wouldn't have even been as upset if you played out the rest of the season and maybe made it deeper than the wild card round.
Well, and here's the thing too, like if you are not shopping a player like Rafael Devers, I think we both agree that he's on pretty similar footing to Ketel Marte in terms of talent. So are the Diamondbacks not shopping Ketel Marte? Yeah, I was told you don't shop players like Rafael Devers, like Ketel Marte.
That's a great point.
So surely the Diamondbacks are just like, oh, the Red Sox are interested in Ketel Marte. Let's take their first and only offer. Like that's and just to kick you in the nuts a little more, the Giants are listening on Bryce Eldridge.
Yeah.
So
see
they're
that.
willing to listen because they have a first baseman now. They have a first baseman who's a lefty and a power hitter. They don't need Bryce Eldridge anymore. And you're like, nope, no thank you. No thanks on Bryce Eldridge. Like, it's just like, even if you got Eldridge, and it's like we said it in that first episode when they first traded him, it's like, okay, they traded Rafael Devers to the Giants. It's Bryce Eldridge. It has to be. There's no way it's not. It's not. It's not. And
Sure
6 months later, they're looking to trade him. They're looking to get rid of him.
It's just poetic, man. Like, I don't know what else there is to say. It's,
I hate this team. That's what I have to say. That's what else I have to say.
Yeah, can we make things a little brighter? Do we have anything else before the breakdown?
The Von Grissom trade
was traded. Yeah.
Von Grissom got traded. I broke it down on the talk, on the Twitter, on the Instagram. It's not a super long video because it's not a very consequential trade, but yep, Von Grissom, we hardly knew ye. Talk about a terrible trade. That's one.
Sure is.
Yeah, especially now because, again, talk about a deal where, like, I think both sides have grown tired of each other at that point. I think Sale was tired of being here, and the Red Sox were tired of him always being injured. But, like, to get Von Grissom back, just it sucks. He never really fit this, that, and the other thing. But yeah, if you're looking for a short breakdown on Isaiah Jackson, the piece they got back, check out the socials for that. Rule 5 draft was yesterday. They were just real quick. Rule 5, they clear the spot on the 40 man. I think the wishful thinking people, myself included, even though I knew that it was a Rule 5 spot that they wanted to do, were like, oh, like they cleared a 40-man spot, what's coming? But it was just the Rule 5 draft, and we get all these reports yesterday morning that the Red Sox are working the phones trying to move up in the Rule 5 draft because they like someone. And there is just something so funny to me about Pete Alonso finalizing a long-term deal with a division rival while you're frantically working the phones to try to trade up in the Rule 5 draft. But yeah, so I obviously they had a bunch of different stuff, a bunch of different things in the oven at that time, and they were, I'm sure, doing both. But they ended up getting a deal done. They traded Justin Reimer, who's an infielder, comp 4th round pick in 2023. Solid approach, not a lot of power, probably a second baseman, nothing to write home about. I mean, obviously, when you're talking about trading for a Rule 5 pick, like they gave up what? Who was it for Slayton? I forget who it was. Colin Holderman.
I don't remember either. Maybe?
I think it was Colin Holderman or someone like that. So, but they got back Ryan Watson, who was a San Francisco Giant, another guy that Breslow, and when he met with the media, said Ryan Watson's a guy that we've been trying to get even during the season. Well, you traded them your best player, so you couldn't have you could have been like, hey, we want Watson too.
I would have taken him over Jordan Hicks.
Yeah, a guy that they left unprotected from the Rule 5 draft, again, 6 months later. You couldn't have just been like, yeah, by the way, you're getting our best player, so we're taking Ryan Watson. But Ian Cundall, he says he checks a lot of boxes for arms they like: 7-foot extension, low release height, flatter fastball, feel for spin, 4-seam up to 96, has a sinker, 2 bat missing breakers, sweepy slider that gets a 37% whiff and a 41% chase, vertical curveball. They've had good success with these relievers in the Rule 5 draft. Your guy Whitlock, obviously Slayton as well. So intriguing arm. He'll have to be on the bullpen or else I don't know how it works. Like, does he get returned to the Giants if he doesn't pan out? I think he does.
Probably, right? Yeah,
I think he goes back to, which means you just got, like, he's going to be on the roster unless he gets hurt. He's going to be on the roster the entire year. I can't imagine they would give up a piece for that. Ryan Amons, traded by the New York Mets to the Red Sox for Ryan Amons. Why did I think it was Colin Holderman? I thought it was a pitcher. I thought it was a pitcher for sure.
I don't even remember that name.
Maybe it wasn't him. He was on the. It was someone. I don't know who I'm thinking of. No, it's not even Colin Holderman.
I don't think he was ever on the Red Sox.
No, he wasn't. It's Colin something. I don't know. I remember seeing the name when he debuted for the Mets. And was like, oh, that guy was on the Red Sox. So I don't know, but it's a moot point at this point. But a whole lot of rumors coming out. I mentioned the Kyle Teal one. What else? Freddie Peralta. The Red Sox are one of however many teams in on Freddie Peralta. The Yankees, the Astros, usual suspects on that front. I don't really know what to expect there because I think that it would have to be a pitcher coming about. It seems like there's a lot of smoke around. Like I haven't seen any actual reporting that they're shopping Brian Bale besides Breslow saying that they're at least willing to listen on their controllable starters, which makes a lot of sense. Justin Hagenman is who I was thinking of.
Okay. That name I know.
Yeah, yeah, that one. That's who I was thinking of in Colin Holderman. Let me see if I can get a transaction on him real quick. Oh no, I can't. Okay, I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But geez, I lost where I was going on. Got distracted by Justin Hageman, and I
Ryan
forget.
Bayo, controllable starters.
Oh yeah, which it makes sense that they'd be willing to listen on starters because, like we said, they had 14 40-man starting
Yeah.
pitchers, and that's just not something that's sustainable at all. So I don't know why people just jump to Bayo. I think there's any number of guys that they could move. But like to the Brewers, like it would have to be Bayo plus for Freddie Peralta, and like what is plus? What does that look like? They're set in the outfield, so it doesn't line up there. And it seems like they want more major league, like ready to go players. So it doesn't feel like they're a fit for like Franklin Arias or something either.
No.
So I would find like maybe you're sending them two starters. Like I don't know where you go from there. Yeah, I mentioned the Teal thing, the Vinny P thing. I'm not super bent out or like super hyped on. I don't think I'm missing anything. Am I missing something?
I don't think so. I mean, a lot of these rumors are coming from various sources, and then other sources are pouring water on them almost immediately. So I feel like take everything with a grain of salt. But I don't know. We just need something in general, man. Please do something. I really
Yeah.
don't know what else there is to say. I think we get invested in a lot of these rumors. Most of them don't end up actually happening, especially for the Red Sox, because the team is interested in anyone with a pulse, but ultimately won't end up signing most, if not all of them. So I don't know, man. Like I'm trying to wait and see, but I am getting more and more upset by the day.
Well, here's one that I wanted to touch on quickly. Jen
Okay.
McCaffrey in The Athletic said that the Red Sox will now have to get creative or are looking to get creative in acquiring
Thank
two
God.
bats to bolster their offense.
Yeah,
I just
that's
don't
good.
understand why it has to be creativity. Like, why does it?
Always.
They always have to like flex their brain power. They always have to be the smartest person in the room. They always say, and it dates back to Heim too. Like they want it, and it's so bizarre too because they want to be the smartest person in the room. They want to be this analytical, forward-thinking team, and then simultaneously they're cutting like a bunch of their scouts. They're cutting a bunch of their front office. Like they're trimming a ton of fat. So it's like, okay, do you want to be the smartest people in the room, or do you want to just save your poor billionaire owner as much money as possible? Because it certainly feels like the latter more than the former at this point. So, like,
No
I
doubt.
just like, what does creativity look like? Is it trading Brian Bayo for a bat? And then I would say that you're still an arm short in the rotation, like unless you really believe in Johan Oviedo. But like again, like certainty. Like I want certainty. I don't want. Can we get Johan Oviedo to take a step forward? The window is open, so the time to win is now. Like it's not time to be like, can we get a step forward from Johan Oviedo? That would have been great 2 years ago. Now it's time to win.
Yeah, man, this was therapeutic for sure. Like I just there's not much more we can do but wait and see, even if we don't necessarily want to. One thing I do enjoy is watching the Boston Bruins though.
Buddy.
Oh, yes, it is. I always forget about the highlights in the intro, and I start laughing every single time they come on. Shout out again to Zach for the intro. It is the best thing I've ever heard. There's a lot of ways I could start this. It's been probably about 2 or 3 weeks since we last checked in. Bruins are still playing decent hockey, but I want to start with Murat Husnudinov would never hurt me the way Craig Breslow has. I firmly believe that. And honestly, he hasn't been anything to write home about lately. One more thing on Husnudinov here I have is Husnudinov with his fourth goal of the year, so inspirational. But honestly, like the main storyline with the Bruins has been all the injuries. Not only they've sustained, but also have been able to kind of battle through. Like it's weird that I still am not convinced this is a real contender by any means for what are they like maybe 30 games into the season, a little bit more than that, 34 or so.
No,
I think they're 18 and 13.
Is it that many?
Yeah.
I guess it is a condensed schedule. I keep forgetting about that because
I don't know what the
because the
math is
Olympics.
though.
I'm pulling it up right now.
31?
I keep forgetting that and have you followed any of the stuff about the they played 31.
Okay, yeah.
I keep forgetting because of the condensed schedule, but have you seen some of the stuff about the rink in Milan?
Yes, I was gonna ask you about that. Do you think that impacts any of these players going over there?
It's not going to impact them, like their decisions to go. It could
Mhm.
impact the NHL's decision to let them go. So I don't know if you know this about international hockey,
No,
but
definitely don't.
so the ice is it's actually supposed to be bigger than NHL rinks. So like when you see some of these teams getting built out in these roster projections, you'll see like some guys are like, "Oh, really? Like that guy?" So typically you want to go with like some faster guys because the ice is
Uh-huh.
going to be bigger, more space to play make and whatnot. This rink that it's supposed to be done on February 2nd in Milan, which the first women's games I believe take place on February 8th. I
Might
saw it
even
on
be the
Twitter.
5th.
Is it? Yeah, I saw it on Twitter the other day. But there's less than a week of margin for error in
Mhm.
terms of getting this arena done. Which I would say, if you're, I don't know the exact year that Milan knew that they were getting the Olympics, it feels like something that should have been done pretty quickly.
At least
But
at least
also,
4.
but also, the rink is actually going to be smaller than an NHL ice by like 2 feet. I think they said.
So why there's no rules to this at all? You can make it larger or smaller, whatever you're feeling.
I think it has just become such a massive clusterfuck that they're
Yeah.
like, for the love of God, just get it done. Like it just has to get done. Like I don't care how, just get it done. Because like I don't know what like what happened. Like there were rumors that they were gonna try to pivot to Lake Placid and do like Olympic hockey in America for the
Mm,
Winter Olympics in Milan, or like some because they have the week off. Like it's built into the schedule. There's not going to be
right.
hockey for a week if they don't get this arena done. So I don't know what the plan is. And like everyone for like the hype around the four nations, like if I'm the NHL, I'm fucking pissed at the IOC or like whoever it is,
Yeah.
the Milan government, whoever it is that's responsible for this being such a mess. Like I'm furious because you could have just done another four nations and they still could, but it's just, yeah, it's a complete catastrophe. So hopefully stuff gets done there because I need to find some of the some more highlights to these are going to be like completely. Have you ever watched Olympic hockey before or like international hockey?
I mean, yes, but I couldn't like tell you anything about it.
Yeah, these are going to be highlights that you like maybe have never heard before in your life in the open for David's Olympic breakdown.
Oh, well, I have watched Miracle. Like,
That'll be in there. The
I'm ready.
TJ Oshie shootout. That'll be. I'll have to
Yeah, I gotta.
get deep into the bag for that. Maybe I'll put some. Maybe I'll just go with international highlights. So I'll throw some World Juniors. We got to get David's World Juniors breakdown coming up.
You're
That's
asking
in,
a lot of me.
That's World Juniors is a lot of fun. That comes up I think in a couple weeks.
Okay.
It's usually the last week in December.
Now, when you say World Juniors, like, what is the age range?
U20.
Okay.
So yeah,
So
it's
these are like phenoms running
yeah,
around.
a lot of college guys. Bruins prospect Will Zellers is going to be on the U.S.
Okay.
team. Trying to think of some names that you might know that have been there in the past. Bunch of BC guys. Will Smith, Ryan Leonard, Jacob Fowler have been
Talking
there
like
in the past.
Bedard, Celebrini.
Yeah, exactly. They would have played for Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Usually the games are during the like mid afternoon, so like there's nothing else on. It's the holidays, World Juniors.
Let me check this. Now I didn't even know this was a thing. I don't even celebrate Christmas, so I might be ready to go.
All in on World Junior.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to do a breakdown, I mean, who am I to deny the people? Where? I don't know now.
My shit is working so slow.
20th to January 5th, is this right?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. Oh yeah, so we start. Oh yeah, these are all pretty easy times. Let's see, where's the first US game? First US game is the 27th at 6 p.m. and that is not in military time. Thank God.
We would have struggled there if it was military time.
And that is Eastern time as well. So I don't even have to do any math. That's
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Where is
that's
it
how you
this
draw
year?
it up. It says Grand Casino Arena. Where is that?
Probably Canada, I would guess. It's usually in Canada.
Which will be held the
Ottawa.
first day. Why does this say The championship will be held in St. Paul.
Minnesota.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, World Junior's a lot of fun.
I'm excited now.
Yeah.
You
All
might
in
have to
on
remind me those are happening, but
Oh, I will. I definitely will. All right, what do you got? Oh, Murat Huznadinov is what you started this breakdown with.
yes,
I
my
literally said
goat.
the other day when so they obviously get Pasta back and he's slotted in on the third line with Minton and Huznadinov, and I was like, oh, is he on a minutes restriction? Is he maybe he's just they're just trying to spark Minton and Huznadinov? And I was like, Huznadinov has been a ghost ever since a certain podcast dubbed themselves Huznadin heads.
No, this is not true because he assisted Minton on one of those.
That's true.
Minton had 2 goals against St. Louis, and I know he assisted
This was
one
before that
or
one.
both of them.
This was like right before that game, before the
He has been,
lines.
but I don't
Yeah.
care. I mean, buddy, he's in over his head. I mean, he never thought he would be here. Okay, so I'm not gonna be like, God, oh, now this guy all of a sudden's not contributing when he was on the first line for a little while Lindholm was out. Okay, cut him some slack. Let him get back to who he is, and we'll go from there. I think he's my favorite player on the team. I don't know why. You know, I don't know if I've told you this. My favorite player on like the old Bruins, like the cup winning Bruins teams and around those years was Dennis Seidenberg.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. I just like the name. I think it's something about hockey names where I'm like, okay, that guy has a sick name, and I don't care how good he is on the ice. But I mean,
Dennis Seidenberg was a nice little player.
Yeah, I mean, Huznadinov, I think, would fall in that category, but I mean, to me, way more than that.
He means so much more to me.
Yeah. Okay, enough for Huznadinov. Fun fact. Oh wait, actually, I do have one more. Huznadinov and Fraser Minton are like LeBron and Wade, and that was in reference to the 2-goal game for Minton in St. Louis. But I'll go back here. I miss Jonathan Quick, UMass legend. They played the Kings a while ago now. I think
Jonathan
they
Cook,
lost.
was he a UMass? He was a UMass Lowell legend, wasn't he?
No. He was a UMass Amherst legend. Maybe both.
Was he?
I know because I ordered a Jonathan Quick UMass jersey off AliExpress, and it's pretty nice. All things
really?
considered. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, given that it's an alley. Oh yeah, UMass Amherst. I feel like there is a UMass Lowell legend.
Hellebuck.
That's who it is.
I think.
Yeah, I think
is that how you
right.
say it? Hellebuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was Lowell. I know Swayman went to Maine. A lot of East Coast guys.
Well, Hockey East.
Well, yeah. Now UMass is not nearly as good, but I know you're probably is BC still good at? Yeah, I mean,
they're all right,
guys.
They're all right. They just lost a bunch of guys.
Mm-hmm.
I've mentioned them. Oh, Leonard Smith, Jacob Fowler. They had a lot of. They have Dean Letourneau. They're like the Boston College Bruins currently with Dean Letourneau, James Higgins, Andre Gasso, Oscar Yelvik. They have a bunch of Connor Hellebuck was it? It was a Riverhawk legend.
I know Puck. Come on.
But yeah, so they're a little bit of a like transition year, but they're still like I think they're like 14 in the top 20 or however many they rank.
Okay. What happened to Yoki Haru? Did he die? I haven't seen anything on him.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on him, but he's fucking useless. So I don't.
Well, yeah,
really
that brings me to my take: is no one shoots more prayers than Yoki Haru. I mean, he's
playing Chell, World of Chell. When we play with my friend Jeremy, he plays defense, and we call him Jerry Shin Pads because he gets the puck at the point and just fucking claps him right into the other team's shin pads.
Yep.
It seems like that's what Henry Yoki Haru is. Like he is Henry Shin Pads.
Yeah, so I liked him at the beginning of the year simply because of his name, and now see some of them just don't work. Some of them just don't line up. I don't like him anymore, but I mean, yeah, no, sorry, your name can't save you that time. Next one. Old ones were even better, but Sharks uniforms are still 10 out of 10. That's my uniform take of the day.
The Sharks are probably my favorite non-Bruins team in the NHL. I think I've said this before, but they have like a bunch of really good young players with Will Smith and Max Celebrini and Colin Graff and Michael Misa. Like they have and then they also just have a bunch of journeymen like veterans like Adam Gaudette, Ty Dellandrea, Ryan Reeves. Like they're the funniest roster ever. It's incredible.
And did I tell you this that my cousin is the the coach of the Sharks, Ryan Warsofsky.
Oh yeah, I think you did say that. I don't know if you said it
He
on the pod, but
I don't think I did either, but one of his quotes was like, I don't remember the exact, it was something wild, like, about, like, something, like, to win a championship,
so
but, I don't wanna get it
do you
wrong.
personally know him? Like, is he like a first cousin or like a distant cousin?
I think he's like a second or third cousin. My parents
Okay.
will be listening to this and they'll tell me. So text me about that whenever you get to this point, mom and dad. But yeah, oh, this is what he said. He said, I'd give up one of my children for a fucking win. So
I
I
remember
mean,
that. Yeah, it's
shout
when they
out
did
to
it.
him.
Yeah, when they started the season over. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember
And
that.
I think he walked it back, but even
Yeah,
still,
yeah,
it's
he did.
very funny.
Well, it's like what Vrabel did on was it Bussin' with the Boys or Pardon My Take, where he was like, would you cut off your dick to win a Super Bowl? And he was like,
Mm.
like he went through. He didn't go as far as to say that he'd give up one of his kids, but he was like, well, I have 3 kids, so I don't need another.
Yeah, it is a good point. Yeah. Shark sound guy deserves a raise. I don't even remember exactly what he was playing, but whatever it was, I loved it. Oh, this one's good. Okay. So shout out Joe Sacco. I will not shout out Jim Montgomery. Shout out Claude Julien because I think we had a reunion of like Joe Sacco. Who's he with now? The Canadians, maybe?
I don't even know where Sacco is, but
Rangers.
Rain.
I think the
Yeah,
Rangers.
yeah, that's not. I think that's right. I do
So
remember seeing that. He's with Mike Sullivan.
So they played the Rangers, then they played St. Louis, and both Montgomery and Claude Julien are on that staff.
I've got some fucking takes on St. Louis. Hang on, just
Okay.
we're doing tribute videos for Jim Montgomery, dude. Give me a fucking break. This guy had 1 foot. This guy was already in St. Louis when he was coaching the Bruins last year in the league. Like, it was the most clear-cut tampering I've ever seen. Like, how many times do you see an in-season coaching change where one guy gets fired and then another team is like, oh shit, this guy's available, let's fire our coach and bring him in? Like, you never see something like that happening. And then Montgomery, he's back in St. Louis. He's like, oh, I have these in my closet the whole time. I've always loved St. Louis. Like, go fuck yourself, dude. If it weren't for you being a colossal fucking moron in 2023 and not sticking with the goalie rotation, we'd be talking about the greatest NHL team of all time, resulting in a fucking cup. But no, instead we had to play a continuously not right Linus Ullmark over Jeremy Swayman, who looked great in every single game he played, and then got bounced in the first round by the Florida Panthers. So much of my problems would be fixed if that 2023 Bruins team just finished the job and won the cup. So fuck you, Jim Montgomery. You deserve no tribute video, no standing ovation, and I hope you finish in last place for the rest of your tenure with that dog shit fucking Blues team, because fuck the Blues too.
I mean, not to mention the Blues aren't even good. Like they went through all these hoops to
because
sign
he's not a
Montgomery.
good coach.
Right. Like, just I don't understand. And obviously I don't know shit about hockey. So I mean, maybe there's semantics there that I don't get. But way, fuck the Blues as well. Because obviously for 2019, that was annoying too. Like, what's his name? Barbashev? Yeah, hate that guy. Cool name also, and I don't like him. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
fuck
must be
Jordan
just a Bruins
Binnington.
thing.
I hate Jordan Binnington.
He's a weenie too.
The worst was the Four Nations where he stood on his head in the Garden to win it for Canada, and the ESPN broadcast kept something about this building in championship games for Jordan Binnington.
Sure.
Sean, I love you, Sean, but can we please just anytime that you can mention 2019 Game 7, can we not? Like, can we not? 2019 Game 7. I don't know if you're familiar with the Spit and Chicklets Sandbagger.
I know Spit and Chicklets. I don't know.
So they do like golf scrambles with guys and record them. They did one with I think it was Tuca and Torrey Krug. I only saw the clip on Twitter. I didn't watch the whole video. Jake DeBrusk, who if you know me, you know that I was the #1 Jake DeBrusk hater during his time on the Bruins. Not for any other reason other than I think he was so overrated and so overhyped. And he was also a part of that catastrophe 2015 draft. Showed up late to the rink for Game 7 of the fucking Stanley Cup Finals. No wonder Bruce Cassidy hated your ass. And then they ran him and David Krejci run Bruce Cassidy out of town, and you couldn't even be bothered to show up on time for Game 7 of the Stanley Cup. Like, who the fuck are you, dude? Fuck Jake DeBrusk. I feel so justified in hating him now, and maybe now all of the women of Bruins Twitter that love Jake DeBrusk can finally come to the right side of history and hate him.
That reminds me of another take. Speaking of women on Bruins Twitter, Tyler Seguin is out for the year. Is he still good?
Yeah, he's solid. He's probably overpaid for what he is at this point, but he's still pretty good.
He was one of my favorite players as well. Like Seidenberg and him were kind of neck and neck there. And I found out
two very different players, a stay-at-home defenseman and a flashy 19-year-old center.
I know. I never had a Seidenberg jersey, but Tyler Seguin's only 33. Isn't that wild?
Well, he came in at 19.
It's just like, I mean, that feels so long ago, and he's still not even like at father time yet. It's crazy to me.
No, he just hit his 1,000th game played, I believe.
So he's gonna be like up there in terms of games. I mean, as long as he stays healthy. He's at 1,016 right now. Like, is he a Hall of Famer, would you say? No? Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That's something I need to learn.
He's like a Hall of Very Good guy, I would say.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I need to...
What's he get for points?
Oh, I just clicked off. One sec. Tyler Seguin. Career points, he is at 826. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, like, he would have to, like, continue to play, like, really well. He would need a career resurgence to get in, I would say.
Okay. So like what would you say the baseline is?
It kind of depends. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I think 1,000 points is a good baseline, but like, how long do you play? Like, there's any number of things. Like, the Hockey Hall of Fame's weird because some guys get in, like, it's not as exclusive as like football, but it's or baseball to a certain extent, but it's also not as much as like basketball, where if you like simply pissed in the locker room for 10 years, you get in. But yeah, like people debate Marchand's Hall of Fame candidacy, or would debate Marchand's Hall of Fame candidacy, like between some of the like not off ice, but like some of the scumbaggery on ice of his early career, only one cup, things like that. Like, I think now that he has multiple cups, it's a pretty slam dunk case, but before that, you would have found people arguing it.
Okay, I think a couple more here. Oh yeah, someone check on Mo Seider. Kastelik absolutely murdered him. Did you see that fight?
Yeah, I was blacked out of that game because I was just outside Toledo, which I guess is the Red Wings market. So I was blacked out on ESPN Plus, and the cable that I had in front of me didn't get whatever the Red Wings network is. So I ended up seeing it on Twitter. Yeah. And I guess I'll go on a small tangent here. Red Wings fans are the biggest pussies on fucking earth, that they were like, how could he do that? That was so mean. Like, almost okay. Like, dude, like, don't drop the glove. Like, they were like, oh yeah, some guy, like some scrub on the Bruins just fucking beanbagged Mo Seider. It's like, okay, dude, don't drop the gloves if you don't want to get your fucking face caved in.
Yeah.
And then the next game, they played the home and home, and the Seider comes up behind Zadorov with his stick and like wraps it around his throat, and Zadorov simply comes around with an elbow. And all these Red Wings fans on Twitter are like, scumbag Russian Nikita Zadorov tried to murder Mo Seider with a vicious elbow to the head. So, oh yeah, but you can choke a guy with your fucking stick, and that's A-okay.
Perfectly fine.
Yeah, but the second that the guy throws an elbow, that's when he becomes a scumbag Russian Nikita Zadorov. Which, like, if you aren't familiar with Nikita Zadorov, he's like one of the good Russians. Like, he
seems very nice. I saw him chugging a beer at the Celtics game.
And a bunch of the Russian players, like Ivan Provorov, I don't know if you're familiar with him.
What team's he on?
When this happened, I believe he was a Flyer.
Okay.
A bunch of the Russian guys refused to wear before the NHL caved to the like 4 players that refused to wear Pride jerseys and just banned them all together. A bunch of the Russian guys wouldn't wear them because of citing whatever reason, and Zadorov was not one of those guys. He wore it. So
nice.
Yeah, he's one of the
Shout
good
him
ones. Out. Yeah, he's not a scumbag like Ivan Provorov or Jordan Stahl. Like, I forget who some of the other guys were. James Reimer, I think, was one. Yeah, fuck Clayton Kershaw too while we're on it.
Yeah, real. Let's see. I go out of order here. I really shouldn't, but this makes it all the more confused. Morgan Geeky, absolutely, is all I have to say.
It's
I think he's very good at hockey.
speaking of the Olympics, I find it hard to believe in Don Sweeney's the GM of Team
Team
Canada.
Canada, yeah.
Yeah, I find it hard. Like people in all their projections have like Tom Wilson making the team. Like I just
Ugh.
find it hard to believe that the general manager of the Boston Bruins and also the general manager of Team Canada isn't going to put Morgan Geekie on this list. And like I don't know what Pasta is some sort of like visionary or maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but like a soothsayer or like he can see into the future because
What is that word? Psychic.
yes, yeah, a psychic or yeah, something of the sorts because he was like Morgan Geeky, there's 50 goal potential in there. And
Look at that.
sure
We're like
enough,
halfway
he's
there.
just yeah, sure enough, there he is, like well on his way to 50 goals. Like I mean, and he was a guy, I think I've said this during the segment before, where I wasn't super pumped on bringing him back if the number wasn't like perfect, which it ended up being a really comfortable number, especially with the way it's going up. But I thought he was a Pasta merchant. But no, Pasta's been out for it was only 5 games. It felt like Pasta was out for ages.
I know.
But he's the reason why they've been able to overcome all these injuries to their 2 best players.
And it's been awesome to watch. And it's also it's cool how, and I don't know if this is super common, but I feel like Marco Sturm seems to change up the lines way more than I've ever seen before. Like trying to find that perfect fit, and more often than not, it seems to be working.
Well, that's and it's such a stark contrast from Montgomery, who like
Yeah.
whenever he changed the lines, it just kind of felt like he was throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. But for the
Yeah.
most part, he was just like, they'll figure it out. He never said like the poor Gerard Mayo for a Red Sox podcast. He's just been a absolute punching bag on this one, but it kind of felt like Montgomery was more like, oh, well, like once they cross those white lines, there's nothing I can do for him out there
Mhm.
than Sturm, who's like actually trying to like get the most out of his players.
I love it. Like I'm all in on him. Another guy I'm all in on. I think this is a 2-parter, but it's my last one. Alex Steves. I think so. Follow-up point. Jersey of the week goes to Alex Steves. Everybody, congratulations. Yeah, he's been great. I mean, I didn't even know that was a thing. But yeah, I mean, all this to say, like, this is a guy who really came out of nowhere and has been positively contributing. I wonder how much that changes, like, now that Pasternak is back and as a couple other guys return. But, I mean, talk about making the most of your opportunity. This is what I think it's all about. And especially me not knowing anything about hockey, I always kind of latch on to the underdogs of the group, like Kuznetsov I would put in that category. And it's just cool to see.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that Sturm like really tries to emphasize.
Yeah.
Like if you get an opportunity and you make the most of it, like we're seeing Steves do, he's gonna find a way to keep you in there every night. Like it's
happened
just as
with-
simple as that.
On the opposite end with Beecher.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't, and he like absolutely. I think we talked about it when they first waived him. He absolutely ripped Beecher on the way out the door.
Yes.
So, like, it's like I said, it's one of those things where if you go out there and prove that you should be in the lineup every single night, he's gonna find a way to keep you in.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, could this just be an insanity run? It could be, but I
Certainly,
just
but
I
ride
like
the hot hand.
absolutely, and that's what this is all about. Like you said, I feel like Sturm is kind of leaning into, like, he has a much better feel of the game than I've seen from previous coaches. And where are they at now? The Bruins sit 3rd in the Atlantic Division at 36 points. This is very interesting to me. They still have no overtime losses. And that's pretty rare 31 games into the season, no?
I think it's kind of a little bit of luck. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, how many overtime games have they played? It doesn't feel like many.
I don't know if that's, where does it say that?
They have played however many.
Maybe like 5 or 6?
They have 16, so they've played 4.
Okay.
Nah, no. 16 minus 4 to 6. They played 6 overtime games.
Actually, piece of news that just broke not that long ago. The Bruins activated Charlie McAvoy off IR, indicating the defenseman is likely to return tonight, less than 4 weeks after jaw surgery. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, he lost 20 pounds, he said.
Yeah,
and like
dude.
couldn't eat, right? I mean, he like I would guess he broke his jaw with the way that
Yeah.
like he said he lost a couple teeth and whatnot, which I don't know if you saw this. The Black Friday matinee game, they interviewed Mike Sullivan, who do you know that Mike Sullivan is Charlie McAvoy's father-in-law?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Mike Sullivan is Charlie McAvoy's father-in-law, and it worked out that Rangers were in Boston for Thanksgiving and then Black
Yeah.
Friday, and instead of having the traditional Black Friday or Thanksgiving meal, they had Kowloon.
But
So it's
Kowloon,
and
yeah.
and Charlie McAvoy was unable to eat Kowloon, so that's probably I can only imagine that that's been the worst part of breaking his jaw is not being able to eat Kowloon.
I mean, that has got to be such a kick in the balls, man. But I'm happy for him. Like even before the injury, it's like, yeah, maybe he wasn't playing up to the best of his ability. I mean, a freak injury like that, like you worry in general for player safety, and to come back less than 4 weeks later is pretty wild.
Yeah, and I think a lot of him like playing poorly was him having to make up for Mason Lohrei because I think
Uh-huh.
I said this when this happened. It was like every time there was the still shot of like Mason Lohrei fucking up, McAvoy was also out of position, and it was definitely just him making because once they put him with Zadorov, McAvoy started playing so much better. My one complaint about Charlie McAvoy is still just simply that he's not a power play quarterback defenseman, and because they're paying him $9.5 million or whatever it is, they continue to try to force him there like he is one. Like I'm fine with him on the second unit, but it needs to be Lindholm on the first unit.
Yeah, it looks like right now, I don't know if this is confirmed or not, but they have Lindholm, McAvoy, then Zadorov and Aspero, Lohrei, and Peak. You think that's how they'll shape out? Okay. Well, we'll see how that pans out. I don't know. I think overall the defense has been better. I admittedly I haven't been watching them that closely.
Did you see Andrew Peak's helmet getting stuck in the glass?
When was that?
The I think the Red Wings game. I can't remember exactly though.
I don't
The
think I
second
did.
round. Oh yeah, his helmet got stuck in the glass, and it really epitomized Andrew Peak as a player.
Maybe I'll have to do a deep dive on it. Maybe Shorty the week candidate for next week, maybe. But I think that's all I have. So that was another good one, I think.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like that was the lengthiest Bruins breakdown that we've had so far.
I honestly like I don't try to like if the take is there, it's there. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to what's the word?
force it.
Like yeah, force it or like yeah, in any way. Like it's just if something comes to my head where I'm like, that's good, then I'll write it down.
Yeah.
I guess maybe this iteration was more intense than others, but we'll see how it pans out for next time because I'm expecting to have more time on my hands with the holidays and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also been a while since we last recorded too. So
Mhm.
you have like 3 weeks of Bruins takes in the
I know.
tank.
Yeah, and also if the Red Sox actually do anything, then these episodes will get more frequent.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then
right.
then there'll be more rapid fire, which I think might be good too. But yeah, always fun to do them. I appreciate you bearing with me on my limited hockey knowledge.
We gotta get like Razor or Jaffe now that you have an in with the boys. We gotta get them
Oh,
on David's Bruins. We gotta just fire them off to them.
maybe I should
Make it
just go. Yeah, I'll just go in there and read my list.
yeah. I need your guys' feedback. I do a podcast. It's about the Red Sox, but we do a Bruins segment. Here are my takes. Here's the first one. Alex Steves. I think so.
Dude, if I could show it to you, I don't know if I can. It's literally just like, is it mirrored or no?
No,
Oh
I
yeah,
can
he's
see it enough.
right
Yeah,
at the bottom there. Alex Steves, I think so.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's one that needs to get fired off on Morning Brew. With Alex Steves, I think so.
Yeah. Oh, we'll see how where I can insert that. But yeah, I mean, I'm firmly in I think so category with him.
Yep, I like it.
With Breslow, I am not.
Yeah,
I think I despise him at the moment.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thumbs
big
down
thumbs
to Craig
down.
Breslow. The Fell Forward Again awards go to Red Sox fans.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's still there is still a path to a successful offseason. Here it's just like it becomes a lot more convoluted and a lot more like where do they go from here?
Hmm.
Because like when you have a guy who is like literally the perfect fit, like everything that you were describing and like it goes back to him just not needing to stop talking. Like everything that you described was there in Pete Alonso, and you just simply were like unwilling to extend yourselves. Like all it would have cost was money. He had an
Yeah.
option, so it's not going to cost you a comp pick the same way that signing Schwarber would have, or any number of these guys. It was simply money. So like I just don't know where they go from here. I mean, I'm sure they're going to find a way to improve the roster. If they don't, Breslow should lose his job, but like it becomes a lot more cloudy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of offseason left, but at the same time, like, we're running out of options here. But either way, we will be with you throughout the rest of this offseason, whether that be with Red Sox takes or Bruins takes. So as always, thanks so much for listening. We'll check in with you guys again next time.
Drake May.